And we're going to get the show on the road. See if a few more people roll in. Good morning, Jimmy B. Just needs to hold above this 8250. This needs to start holding above here to make a chance to push that 98. Then it'll push 98 and we get that potential fill right up here to 103 is what I'm looking at. Potential. Look at that beauty go. Boom. There it goes. Look at that. Straight up. See if we get this little tappy tap right here. Look at that tap right there. Look at that. This is how I play the chop, y'all. Look at that. Oh, magic. You guys see it? Magic. See it? What a beauty. There's that fill. Now you're challenging this level. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. This is how I play the chop. I have these little squares, right? Mark my blue candles. When it broke, I played the short. Got it down here. Didn't play this long. Nice push up. Boom. There's the retracement on that purple. This is a secret menu item on Quantum. These untraced purple candles get retraced a lot. So that was a beautiful play. 83 for 20 points. Am I frozen? Can't hear. Froze. Audio's gone. Damn it! Give me a sec, y'all. You're good. You're good. I saw like a mixed bag. Okay, we're good now. Whew. Yeah, man, I hate Discord. It's always me. Why is it always me on Discord? But look at that beautiful play, guys. 20-point instant pump after broke 83. Straight to the retracement of this candle. Now you want to see if this is going to continue to push up. We want to see it break over 110, then break over 113. And then make our way up to this box potentially. But this is that secret menu item on Quantum, these purple candle retracement plays. And when you could catch those flips, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Yep, still recording. Look at that. Oh my God. It's just ripping. It's just ripping. I'm going to get rid of these now because these are no good anymore. Boom. Now we have our little levels. All right. So what's up, everybody? Maestro Javi here. Just saw a beauty right there. As I was starting the show, we have a few updates on Quantum. Few freaking updates on Quantum we've been waiting on. We've made it a little bit faster. The refresh rate on this has gotten significantly better just with removing things that we didn't need. So there was these triangle confluences that I used for the second charts that we got rid of because we don't use them anymore. There's no need for them. I haven't used those in months, almost a year now. So we got rid of those. And one of the major updates that we added were the addition of a third level if you so choose to want it, right? You do not have to have the third level if you do not want it, but you have the ability to go in there. So let me show you guys what that'll look like, right? Here's the new settings tab. At the very top, whoopsie, and boom. All right, at the very top, you're going to see toggle time frame 1, toggle time frame 2, and toggle time frame 3, right? You can choose which levels you want to see. Now, one thing I want to be clear is that you can only see the current time frame levels and higher. You cannot see the time frame levels below. So if you're on the 5-minute or 2-minute, you will not be able to see the 1-minute levels. Okay, you'll have to see them on the 1. But if you're on the 1-minute, you can see the 2-minute, 5-minute. You can see the 2-minute and 15-minute. You can put whatever you want. The beauty of it is that it's all automated, so it does it for you. When those levels get created, it'll show up. The other beautiful update that Owen did, I'm muted. I'm not okay. See, so try if I'm muted for some of you guys, hopefully try refreshing. And this is being recorded. So the I forgot, I lost my train of thought now. All right, let me put the settings back up. All right. So the beauty of having multiple levels now, right, especially on the higher time frame. I love my 5-minute, right? My 5-minute chart, my 1-minute chart. Those are my bread and butter Quantum charts, right? I'm a scalper, so I look for setups that play off with a 1-minute entry and then can potentially have continuation into the 2-minute and to the 5-minute. So I've always had my triple time frames, right? Not always. Actually, the triple time frame is still somewhat recent. It's like 2 months old now. But I always had the double time frame. I was always looking at the 1 and the 5. The triple time frame gave birth to that trifecta setup, right? When you see the 1-minute, the 2-minute, and the 5-minute line up, right? When those 3 line up, they give you some of the most beautiful big explosion plays. Your entry will always be on the 1, your continuation on the 2, and if you have runners, those runners can run huge. Okay, I went over this and in my breakout room in the event. A lot of you guys didn't get to go. We'll go over it right here, right? Here is the 1-minute at open, 9:38 a.m. this morning. We have that 1-minute candle explode up, right? I wait for these retracements. A++ setup. You see that signal pop up. What is the A++ setup? It is the cross occurring inside one of my Quantum candles that triggers that buy or sell. Okay. Once that next candle came in to retrace, right? You have that retracement pull down, right? This is a big impulse candle. I expect a pullback from these. pulled down, tested this level right here, this level that got created at 83. Then your stop loss would have been right below that blue candle, right below there at 63. You could have put it at 62, 63. This was less than a 10-point risk play at this point. If you can manage to get in at 83, if you got in at a better entry, if you were able to like snipe the entry down at 76, you would have had an even better stop loss potential here, right? Actually, this would have been actually just about 20 points. I'm sorry, not 10 points, 20 points risk, right? But the overall play, the explosion did play out beautifully. Now, one thing I want to make clear, right? A lot of people know me for doing 5 and 10 points, 5 and 10 points. 5 and 10 points is only something only, I only do that when I'm risking 1-to-1 RR, okay? There's been some like misconception over, I always do 5 and 10. If I'm risking 15, I'm not going to go for 5 points. I'm going to go for 10 or 15 first. The 10, the halfway point is always just kind of like a risk reduction thing for me. It's not a main TP. Okay, so I've been going mainly for 1-for-1. I've always gone for 1-for-1. And then you see the continuation follow through, right? For those of you that are familiar with quantum, you guys know what my quantum candles are. The blues are the bullish candles. The purples are slash pinks, right? Some people say pink. I kind of see them as purple. Been calling them pink lately. Are the bearish candles. Here's the push through, and then you see the continuation. Once these bearish candles get overtaken, the continuation pulls through. Okay, so the trifecta setup is beautiful because when all three time frames line up, the move tends to explode, right? Think of it like a casino, right? You go to the slot machine, right? What do you want? You want 777. You want diamond, diamond, diamond. That's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for ching, 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 and then cash out. You see that pop up, right? This play ended up being a 250 point in the end. I wrote about 100 points of it. It kept going. Awesome. I don't care, right? I took my piece of the pie. I was happy with it. Pushed violently up through a box and kept going. Okay. Now, the beauty about these levels, right? When you have stacked levels, these areas form strength. And what I love about it, let me zoom in on this higher time frame 15-minute chart now that I can play with these levels, now that we can modify these levels, you can look at the higher time frame levels now. So on the 15-minute chart here, right, I have the level set to the 15 and 30 minute, right? Anybody that has way more patience than me, that has bigger balls than me, like Llama and Izzy, right? Those guys have way more patience than I do. You can potentially play these higher time frame setups now if you have that kind of patience. I do not, right? I do not. I obviously do not, but these play out just as well. You can see how these levels form. You can see how they push. You can see these reactions, right? But look at the wicks. This is why I don't play it, right? Look at this wick, right? This level was at 90. Look at that 40-point wick down, push back up, retested it one more time, and skyrocketed, all right? I don't have that kind of, patience, and I don't like going into a 40-point drawdown on any kind of account. Right? I try to keep my risk pretty damn tight. Sitting in a trade 30 minutes is wild. Yeah, exactly. 11 twice. It's wild for me. But you can see like the levels, how they get respected. They get respected, and the candles get the reactions are identical. It's just the timing is going to be more significant, right? On the 5-minute, right? Same kind of idea. Right, on the 5-minute, I have it set to the 5 and 15-minute, right? And you can kind of see that stack level formation play, just like the 1 and the 5 play out here. Here's your 5-minute, here's your 15-minute. Boom, boom, violent push up, right? I went over with quantum a little earlier, right? The quad, what is it called? The quadfecta? I couldn't even say it. I typed it out. The quadfecta, right? When all 4 time frames align. It gives an even more violent move from what I was able to look at, right? There was the 15-minute level formation right here, right after all this occurred, right at this candle right here, and then gave that huge explosion up, right? That level also formed, continue to push up. So all the setups, all the same patterns with quantum, it's all the same. But the beauty of it is now we have more levels to play with, more levels to kind of keep an eye for long-term reactions. The other part that I love, right, where you cleaned up the chart immensely, right? You don't see a whole bunch of lines now. We have modified the levels based on ATR. So 10x the ATR is where you're going to see those levels appear. We don't want levels to just be all over the place because at this point, you're not going to expect a huge meltdown. And if you do, those levels will start auto-populating. Okay, so at some point you could see where there might be a potential bounce area or anything like that if the ATR meets it. But we want cleaner charts. I don't want to have levels all over the place, especially when I'm kind of testing my boxes. And then I have levels all over the place, and I have to kind of clear them up and modify the how far away I want to see levels from. I don't want to have all that. So we made it automated where it's based on ATR. So you should see levels that will be potentially tested with the current average true range. Okay, let's see what you guys are talking about in here. I see in here. All right, so let's see what we got going on right now, because this thing is still wanting to just range between that box. It got really close to the box here. This is the area Llama was looking for a short. The 15 minutes trying to curl down too, right? But this is where I'm going to be cautious, right? This 5-minute candle all the way down at 58 would be an area to be on the eye for right here, right? This is my 5-minute range right now. So when I'm talking about quantum, I know a lot of you guys have not used quantum or have had questions about it. I only care about the quantum candles. I don't care about anything else in between. The only time I want to play those candles in between are when they react with my quantum candles. Here's my 5-minute range. You can see these wicks, right? This wick tried to break out, could not hold. Pushed right back in, playing inside the range. This is going to be the bottom, 58. The top will be all the way up at 110. That's a freaking 50 point range. Now, what I can do, if I want to play that 5-minute range, right? If I want to play that 5-minute range, I can plot that 5-minute range on my 1-minute chart. Okay. So if I go over here, right, this is fairly close already to that area, but I could plot this right here, and then I could plot the bottom one right there, right? And this is what it'll look like on my 1-minute. You can see where there's levels in between, right? Where it came down, bounced off this 2-minute level, right? This is a 2-minute level right here. The dashed lines and the solid lines are still the 1 and the 5 on my 1-minute. I put these little tiny dotted ones as my 2-minute. These get respected too. These get very well respected, especially during Asia. Little bit of a cheat code for Asia. Use the 2-minute chart if you guys have it. The 2-minute chart on Asia tends to play out insanely clean. But here we go, right? Let's watch. This is a potential another retracement setup here at the same area at 103. Right here, this candle has not been tested yet, but it needs to break through 98. Let's see if we get that little push, and then we want to see the reaction over here. And look where it actually, let's see what it actually does over here. If this curl up will push it through and give that little 101 tap. And if we're going to stay in this range until FOMC minutes today, right? So we're going to see a lot of range and chop. What's the bottom of the box? The bottom of the box is up here, is at 142. It's at 142. All right. So most of quantum, right, the updates that we put up are mainly for speed of the indicator. The indicator is a very heavy scripted indicator. Lot of math in this thing. Okay, this wasn't something that was just spliced together from randomness. Yes, it's being recorded, Brian. All right, so there's a lot of data in these candles. There's a lot of data in the levels, and we want to speed it up, right? There's instances when people have traded MNQ and NQ where there might be slight differences. We're hoping that this might kind of put that refresh rate in a better area where we can see better. There it goes. You can see better reactions. You'll see cleaner candle formations. You won't get these pauses or freezes. You won't get phantom candles that are missing that you'll see on your chart, but you won't see on someone else's chart. That's what we want to see. All right, look at this. All right, we're going to have another failed bearish move right here. If this can close above that candle, but still needs to hold above that 5-minute range, the long is still, if all these failed bearish candles, the long will still be in play. But let's see what this 5-minute has. 5 seconds left. Still struggling to close above. Did not close above by the tiniest bit. Let's see if it tries to break through it or not, or if it just stays inside this range. What time does FOMC minutes start? Is it just everyone's talking, or is it just 2 p.m., 1, 2 p.m.? Yeah, so we're going to probably have this crappy, ugly range right now until then. So it's kind of crappy, but we're building up little levels, right? I see a staircase up. This is definitely, to me, looking like it wants to break through, but you still have to be patient and wait. Javi, yeah, I made this strategy, Elijah Porter. And again, right, I've been messing around with the settings, and I asked Quantum earlier, they like the original. I've been testing with blanking out these green and grays because I don't look at any of these until they react to these. Right, these are the only candles I care about are these guys, and then the candles that react to these. So when I'm catching plays, if I'm catching a potential long, I'm waiting for a candle to break this, then a retest, and I want to see the breaking candle hold. Right, so like right now, right, would I get in on this at the moment? I'm on the fence because it's a 5-minute purple candle you got to break through. And preferably you want a 5-minute candle to hold above it. But when I see these stacked levels kind of building up and it looks like it wants to push up, there's a possibility it will, but it's still something I would be cautious with. You're pretty close to the current day high, but this is sitting at a bullish standstill where if it can continue to hold over this 108, but if it breaks below, you want it to stay above 95. You want this candle that broke that one to hold. Then you want to see a push through. And this is all I wait for, right? Why can I find these setups all day? Because when a quantum range forms, right? Here's another example, right? Here's a quantum range. Here's your breaking candle. Here's kind of your couple little retests. Your stop loss will be right above this candle right here, or you could put it right above there for a nice push. Then, right, it kept bleeding through, right? It kept bleeding through, bled through this one, break, and it gave you another opportunity to get in the trade. Here's a break and retest. Then it bled through the next one. There was another one over here. This guy right here, that little guy right there, right? There's your break, couple retests. Finally, this is the one that held, right? Right here. This is the guy that held. I obviously modified it already for the 5-minute, but this is the candle that held right here. Look at that. Wick, wick, wick. There's your curl up on your action lines. There's your level formation. There's your 2-minute level formation, pushed up, retested that 2-minute, pushed up. Very simple. Like I can play these plays all freaking day. I don't have to wait more than 20, 30 minutes to find a setup sometimes. There are instances where the chop takes a while, but this is why I can eat in the chop and I can trade whenever I want because I find these setups all freaking day, right? There's one right here. Let's look at this, right? Here's a break. This didn't fully retest. Stop would have been above. Nice little pull down. And then guess what? Then it breaks up here. Break. Retested the whole candle. Then it gave a tap up here. So I would have probably gotten in on the retest a little bit, got stopped out, bounced, gotten back in on the bounce of the level, then played a little break, retest, and another opportunity right here. All right, break, retest, boom. Then an A++ setup with the advanced read with a retest here and just an A++ setup, another setup for a trade. Or nice. All right, if you got it in over here at the 69 retest, stop would have been at 59, 10 points. For a nice, boom. You got your 10 points, 15 points, and then another 20 points. There you go. You got 20 points in total, risking 10. And then guess what? Guess what occurs later on right here? Does it again. There's your break, little retest, little push. That's it. This is how I can find setups all day, right? And I find low risk setups. Yesterday, we caught that 50-point drop right at the beginning. It was a 6-point risk. 6-point risk trade on that drop, and this is how I do it. I only look at these candles. All these other candles in between do not matter to me until they break, right? Here's another example. Here's a little bit of a break, a little bit of a tippy tip break. Here's your retest, and there's your down push, right? Risk 89, 10 points. What would you have gotten? You got your 10 points. That would have only given you your 1-to-1. Your runner would have gotten trailed out if you had it, and then boom, it would have been done. Then here's a not an A++, where you also had an A++ sell down on this. Here's an A++ right here. Not A++, I'm sorry. A+, A-, cross curves in front. The move's already in progress. What would I wait for? The retest. I wait for the retest. As long as this area holds, right, this candle holds, there's a chance for that push up to contest this guy. And this is how I eat the chop. Like everyone else waiting, I can find setups for days, over and over and over again. Okay, that 5-minute area still holding beautifully. Look at that. Boom, boom. 5-minute hold. Right back down to this level. This is just a 5-minute range right now. We'll get rid of that guy for now. All right, next potential area. There's none really, 93 to 76, but if it breaks 93, then it needs to break 86. This is getting tight. This is getting tight, waiting for FOMC. So there's no clean setups unless you're going to play just this little rejection off of 113 all the way down to 93, right? That's still 20 points, so it's not horrible. But this is where your spot is right now for this current range. If it breaks here, your next area would be that 2-minute again at 76. And if it breaks here, it will be down this area. We'll get rid of that guy, right? We'll be in this area at 64.75. So it's getting pretty tight around here. If this area holds and it bounces back up, then you see what? A failed bearish move, then this is still holding that uptrend. And you can see the uptrend right now, right? If you guys do the basics of the basics, you can start seeing things too. If this uptrend continues to hold, right, this will be confirmed by breaking that candle right there, this candle right here. But you want to see this level hold. You want to see kind of push in, push up if that little uptrend right here is going to go. Right? You can start piecing things like that together, and you can start adding confluences, and you can start really, really seeing where you can start waiting for the confirmation of the flip. This is recording, Round Top. This is recorded, brother. Right? This is a lot of the information I have here that I'm giving you guys today. Right? This is a lot of information I go over in all my quantum sessions. Every single quantum session video that you will go and find on YouTube It's the exact same information. My setups don't change. The A++ setups aren't changed. The breaking of these blue and pink candles don't change. It's the exact repetition we go over. You still consider the move this morning a trifecta? It was not a pure trifecta because the buy signal on what? No, actually, no. Yeah, it did give us a buy signal on the 5. So this morning's move was a trifecta. Yes, gave you the buy signal on all 5. What it didn't do was technically the quadfecta. The quadfecta was what I was teasing, but I wanted to see that buy signal on the 15-minute, and it didn't give us. So it did give you the 1, the 2, and the 5 for that trifecta. So the trifecta did play out this morning for a huge play. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. I'm gonna go over a few questions, just like I do in the quantum session, guys. This is I'm basically running a quantum session with you guys. What I'm looking at, educational, and then also, a lot of people test what I'm teaching when I'm showing them, and they also, not financial advice stuff, follow kind of what I'm saying and doing, and I do these weekly. I do these sessions weekly, and with these kind of update, this is going to be a very fun update to mess around with having these extra little levels, especially on volatile days when you have a wide range to play with, right? Look, right now it's bouncing off 93, but this was a weak bounce. Let's see what the DOM is doing, right? And I also look at the DOM, right? If you guys aren't familiar with the DOM, is it going to show up on my screen right here? Yeah, there it is, right? This is the DOM, okay? I'm going to give a little DOM lesson right while we're here. Getting some free chicken here, guys. Okay, so the DOM, right? What am I looking for on the DOM when it approaches a level? I'm looking for it to start to speed up. I'm looking for it to start to react and give me this jerky motion, right? Here we are at 93. You see the DOM speeding up? That's it speeding up, right? But it's slicing through. There it is. There's a DOM going a little bit crazy. Broke through. Now you want to see it stay below 93. And then next you want to see it get to 86. And I want to see what it does at 86. I want to see if the DOM starts. There it is. Look, speeding up at 86. All right. So this candle right here, if this tries to hold, you want to see it start to pull up a little bit. If not, it's going to be a weak area that could potentially break. There it goes, pulling up a little bit, just a little pull up. It wasn't that strong, but there it goes, a little bit, right? There's 5-point pull up so far. Look at it, 87, not even 5 points yet. All right, there's the speed up again. There's the DOM going a little crazy. You saw that speed up as it hit 86. So when I can pinpoint that with an area on my chart, that is what I'm looking for, right? There it is, 86 again. I clicked on the chart and this appeared, all right? And it's holding that 86. Look at that, right? Held the 86 again. So there's definitely reaction around 86. And when I can pinpoint that on something on my chart, whether it's a quantum candle or a level, I could be braced for potential reaction. Now the DOM's starting to speed up a little bit. It's getting jerky, right? But it's resisting something. So we have a purple on the 5 now. We are still in this range, but 86 has been holding. If 86 breaks, 76 could be next. So each time it bounces weak, the bounce is weak. That tells me that it's trying to break it. But look at that, right? It doesn't want to get through 86. Nice strong bounce off of 86. The DOM going crazy at an area I can pinpoint on my chart. So this is how when you guys hear me saying the DOM's going crazy, that's what I'm talking about right there. I wait for it to get to an area, right, 86 or 76, and then I want to see the reaction. And there was a little bit of a pull up on that 86. All right, but where are we stuck in between? We're stuck between this 86 and this bearish candle right here. So it's kind of just back and forth at the moment, back and forth. Looks like it hit 94. What did this say? It hit 95. It hit 95, and that's where it's stuck. All right. Let's see what it does again. Back to 86. It's still holding that 86. There you go, right? Until that 86 breaks, there is a hold there. This is where I can pinpoint it. Look at that. Nice 10-point bounce right there. This is how it's scalped, right? My stop would be simple. Breaks 86, I'd be out. This would be a super duper low risk trade if I felt like scalping it. Okay. This is wrong. Never shake an ass again for free. Never again for free. All right, so always wait for the retest. Yep, I'd like to wait for the retest up of the break. But look at that, guys. So you guys got a nice little lesson on how I use the DOM right there, right? The DOM reacted at 96, 86, reacted at 86, bounced up for 15 points, all right? This is how I read my DOM, okay? Little free chicken for y'all. A lot of free chicken actually right there, but, the DOM is a big part of my confluence. I love reading the DOM when it reacts to these areas on my chart, right? That was that level right here. Right? What was the level? It was actually not a pure level. It was the quantum candle, right? The quantum candle right here. Let me draw it out. All right, right there. This was the quantum candle that held. That's where I saw my reaction. This is where I could have taken a little scalp. If it broke below, I'd be out. And I would wait for what, right? If it stopped me out, I will wait for the break, the retest, and the potential continuation. Very simple for me. right? Look where it went up to. It went up to this 105 almost. Got really close, didn't break it. We're just ranging, right? 5-minute range still in play, right? Hit about the midpoint of the range. Again, little free chicken for you guys, right? When I have a 5-minute range, I treat these like orbs. I look at everything like an orb, right? So if I want to draw a midline, I just box it up, put a little midline there, all right? Look at that. Here's my midline, little 5-minute quantum orby orb. All right, if I want to draw it on the 1 minute, I can. And this would be like my center point, right? My center point, could get rid of this guy. This would be like my center point for the action between here, right? But we have barriers. If we break down here, it has to get through 76, then 64, then 49, right? Those are general ideas of how I use the levels inside these ranges. Thank you, Priscilla. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Can you explain the cross in front again, Tiny T? Yes, absolutely. So the cross in front, when the cross occurs in front, the move's already in progress, right? You see that sell signal pop up? This sell signal only popped up because the cross occurred within one candle, right? That's the criteria that needs to be met. It needs to cross within one candle. In this instance, it's crossed in front. So the move was already occurring. I would not touch this. I would wait for a potential retest for a rejection, but I'd still be cautious with these, especially inside of a range, because it retested the whole range, then pulled back down, right? This is a clean A++ setup right here. I do count the wicks as a part of the body, but this right here is a clean A++ setup. The cross is within the candle. It is within the half, right? The middle point or behind. You want it in the middle or behind to be a clean A++ setup, right? You even got a few retests, even with this blue candle right here, and now you're having the break and the push down, right? This was a clean A++ setup right here. Cross in front, moves already in progress. So always be cautious. I like to play retest on those, right? Moves already in progress. This one gave a couple retests for the continuation. A++ setup here. This one, not so much A++ because the cross occurs on top. That makes it extra risky because the levels get tested. And when they get tested, what could potentially occur? A break of a very, very bearish candle. And then you get that little push up, obviously still within that range for another push down, and then so on and so forth, right? Clean A++, you see that retest, you see the move, right? Let's go look for some more. Let's go hunting, right? Here's one. Cross happened above this candle, hit this 5-minute or the midline of the orb. There was a 5-minute level down here as well, another level down here. Quickly flipped up, gave you a cross up here, right? Then it broke that bearish candle and then gave you that strong move up. A++ setup right here. Cross happened within the candle, within one candle, within the half of the body behind, gave you a retest, clean retest, and then your push up. Gave you another little bit of a retest, did not fully touch the level, which is a good sign of a strong level, and then gave you that flip, obviously, that we saw, right? And again, right, I'm not paying attention to any other candles but these. So when you see break, push, break, little retest, gave you a little bit of a push, came back, boom, pulled down, hit that level, then broke again, gave you another push, and then continued its little merry way. Formed a little A++, then continued its little merry way, break, push, and then it started range. Let's see what's going on here. We're going to test that bottom half of the range now, looks like. Yep, we're going to test the bottom half of the range potentially here. This one goes all the way down here. So look at that. 2-minute level is holding right now. That's 776. So if I was looking at my DOM, I did not pay attention to my DOM. If it came down to 776, I would look if my DOM was going crazy. There's that bounce, right? If the DOM was going crazy at 776, then there's some good chance you're going to see a reaction push up on that area, or same vice versa. If you're seeing the DOM going crazy on a level of resistance, good chance you're going to see a little bit of a pull down. And this is how I can scalp over and over and over again, multiple accounts, multiple times a day at any time of the day without having to wait for a long time, right? There's plenty opportunity for low risk trades. You have to be patient. You have to be very patient. Why is my camera pointing up so high? I just noticed I'm like, I look short. I look as short as a coach. Can you explain it? Okay, always wait for the retest. So always wait for the retest or jump at the color candle. So that's a great question, Ninja. I didn't actually know. So the actual entry for an A++ setup, when you have multiple confluences, meaning you're in or around another level, right? Sauce box, orb. The entry for an A++ setup is always candle close. Okay, candle close, entry begins here, right? Depending on the risk. And this is pinned in the quantum challenge, in the quantum channel as well. The challenge rules that I had, right? My sizing is based on my risk. Okay. So if I'm risking, right, 15 points, I'm not going to size my full 6 micros on a 50K. I'm going to cut that down to probably a third. Because what I'm going to wait for is that potential pull up for a retest to add a couple, right? I call it my strategic PCA, but I'm always going to know where my stop is, and I'm going to keep my stop in play. Once I have that in play, if it does pull back, if the risk is too high, if it's too high, right, I'm gonna just play a couple, wait for the retest to see if it gives me, add a couple more, still have my stop loss right there, and if it plays out, great. If it takes me out, oh well, I was already willing to take the L anyway. Okay? And here we got to witness, right, the A++ setup and then a failed bullish move, right? Failed bullish move occurred. What's occurring right now? This whole candle is getting tested, and now we're getting another pullback rejection, right? This whole candle that broke this is finally getting tested, right? So even if you played, right, if you played the bounce at 76, now you play the rejection at 88 with the stop loss above 92, there you go. There's another little scalping opportunity there, right? But again, right, I always look for one, and I'm not scalping these tight plays either. Like I'm not going to scalp back and forth, but you can see where these little setups can be all over the place, right? The crosses you have to keep an eye for as well, because right now the action lines are trying to curl up. There's a blue candle. This blue candle can break through that 92. We're going to get some pull up here, but this has to close above that 92 area, right? This is the center point of what I had for that midline, right? When I draw my range on the 5 and I match it up with this, I think it was actually right here. There it is, closing above, needs to break 92 to 105, and so on and so forth, right? You don't need to have all those lines there, right? I was just showing you an example of how I visualize things. And this is where the Mastermind stuff and Max's stuff made my things kind of like just feel really, really dangerously consistent, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like I can play the same thing over and over again and find low risk setup after low risk setup after low risk setup. What are the blue lines? They are not shown on my chart. Oh, those blue lines, rows are drawn. I draw these, right? If I delete them, they're gone, right? They're gone. So I draw these. Usually I will mark them based around where the candles are, right? My quantum candles, to kind of give you a visual of where the levels are to be broken, right? Once it breaks one side, look at that. Another rejection off that breaking candle. There you go, back down to 76. So this breaking candle, right? This broke this bullish candle. This is your guiding candle. So even if you came back up again, your stop loss above 92, there's again, right? This is how I can on the chop. Boom, boom, right? I'm willing to take an L. This would have been what, a 3 L? I'm willing to take that. I'm going to test it. I'm an overtrader, but I overtrade with rules. This is why I can do what I do and never be worried or afraid of what I do. Right? Respect your stops, right? Don't try to take every single trade either, right? I'm not going to take every single trade I see on the chart. I see so many. I'm not going to take every single one. But you'll see how there's setup after setup after setup. And these are like multiple 10-point setups. So like somebody's trying to look for 30 points. There was a good 30 points right there in less than 10 minutes, right? But everything has to have rules. You will get stopped out every once in a while. You will take L's. Doesn't mean things aren't working. It just means, you're probably either anticipating, you're not waiting for the actual, play to form, or the market is just insanely chopped because of news or FOMC or something like that. I am not perfect. I take L's. Never put yourself in a pedestal to be perfect. Nice little 3Z down potential here too. Where's our next bullish candle? Blue on the 5 all the way down at 59, potentially down here 64. Let's see if this thing goes. There it goes. All right. And when you pair these setups with what we see, those who are Mastermind students, it gives them extra strength. Gives them extra strength. Looks like the 15 is trying to curl down too here. The 15 has got 2 minutes left. I wonder if this is going to start really pushing now. This is going to be the first 15-minute cross since that opening at 10 o'clock. This 97.25 needs to hold. So 2 more minutes left. I want to see what occurs when that thing closes. This is stay below 97. I want to see what occurs because this will be the first 15-minute level to form since 9:45. So it's going to be interesting. Maestro, is your strat one that encourages overtrading with proper sizing? I wouldn't say it encourages it. It helps you control how you're overtrading, right? Like I'm an overtrader. I'm never going to deny that. I love trading. This is a game to me. Like this thing is such a big ass game to me. Like you guys see me on my phone, right? I always have my phone on me. You guys saw me at the event who were there. If the market's open, I'm going to have my thing open. I play the market like a video game to me. It just feels like I can find setups. Like I said, I can find a setup at any time of the day. And I get in there and I do my thing and I am in control. Like I am literally in control. I know where my stops are. I know where my setups are. I know where everything is. So I'm never getting into a trade super worried, right? The only thing I keep in check is my sizing. right? My sizing's in check, and my risk to reward ratio is in check, and then my entry criteria is in check, and that's it. That's the main things I keep in check. The majority of the time, I am on my phone trading. My wife hates it, and well, she hates it and loves it, obviously, because this is the reason that we were able to keep our family afloat and everything. When I got my first few payouts, I lived off of payouts for several months, guys. Like I got my first payout October 9th of 2024. I got my first payout. I lived off of nothing but payouts. I started coaching in April, middle of April. Middle of April 2025 is when I first started coaching. I didn't have any other income at all between October 9th and that middle of April. And even to this day, I don't rely on any of that money. That money is put aside for my kids. Like, that is for them. Like, I don't rely on that. I don't rely on that at all. Like, I made 10K last week. I made the 10K the week before. I had my biggest 2 months in November and December thanks to gold. And now, like, it just feels surreal still. Like, it's crazy, this whole thing. And this whole thing started with these freaking purple candles and then built up after taking the mastermind. The whole journey has been crazy, and I keep saying that to this day. So 3i, it's like one of those things where I wouldn't say it encourages it, but it will keep you in check, right? Where you're not just gonna get in, just look at the chart and then think, oh, okay, I'm just gonna randomly think I'm gonna go short here. No, like, wait for setups. You have multiple setups to play with. Keep your sizing in check, right? Know how to lose. Learn to lose. That's like the biggest thing. We all say this on repeat. This will be on YouTube later, hopefully. Yes, Javi shakes some ass for us now. I have to watch this back at 0.5 speed on YouTube. It's okay, Ash, right? There's a lot of information. This is a whole strategy, right? This is the part of quantum that you have to understand. It is a whole strategy. There's a whole strategy in this indicator. There are 4 setups. There are technically a couple more setups, right? One's that secret menu item, but I play that one very cautiously because it's risky, right? Trying to play a retrace play is very risky, right? There's ways and times to play it, but there's times where the market does melt and you might not get retraces that day. So you have to be very cautious. That's why I call that the secret menu item. But every single other setup is the same on repeat. You wait for the ranges, you wait for the A++ setups with confluences, right? You guys hear how I preach about llamas fibs and stuff. Like, I love llamas fibs when they line up with fucking Saucebox or freaking Saucebox and, my levels and everything with, quantum. I get the signals, all that fun stuff, right? Look at this 2-minute level held again. Look at that 76. 76 held again, right? Look at this, right? There's that 2-minute level. Look, held again. Now we have the break of this candle again, right? But where is it going to be stuck? Am I going to go long yet? I mean, if I had more room between 92, maybe. But right now, this has to break 92. But this is still playing inside this range. If this gives us a failed bullish move, there's definitely a play for 75 to 64. But I don't want that breaking candle to be huge. But at the moment, right, broke that bearish candle. There's the retest. You guys, this is why I do this stuff live. You guys get to see this. Every single one of my students, every single one of the sessions, we do these things live because you see the things happen over and over and over again on repeat. There's the break of that candle. There's your retest. There's your push, right? It needs to break 92. If it cannot break 92, it's still stuck. But there's that retest push, right? And then this is just repeated over and over and over again, right? But I'm cautious with where I trade, right? This whole candle is super risky because if you're playing a retest, this whole candle is your breaking candle. This whole candle broke that bearish candle. So there's a chance it will retest this whole damn candle. But be cautious. There's another 2-minute, right? Oh, we got 1 minute and a 2-minute buy, but it needs to break through that 92. I'm not getting anything else. The 15-minute level did lock in and it immediately went to push up to test it. So that is the sign of a potential weak level, but as long as it stays below it needs to stay below that 98.9, right? It could push up to test 99. Then we can see what will happen at 99. But if it breaks through 99, there could be a pretty big wick on the 15-minute that could push. But if it stays below 99, chance that is going to be it. And we might start seeing a flip. Now, what I want to see when I see a flip, what do I want to see when I see a true trend flip? I want to see these blue candles get broken. That's what I want to see, right? This 92 will hold. I want to see this start getting broke through. I want to see that 77, 75 break. And that is a true flip of trend for me. Until that occurs, I'll try to eat and play around areas where I can see bounces, right? From 76 or wherever it can be. Until it breaks this area, there's a potential push down for that true flip of trend. For the time being, it is just slow chop. It is downtrending now slightly on the 1, right? You can kind of see it right there. It is slightly downtrending on the 1, but I want to see more of these blue candles break for that confirmation that we are flipping to the downside. And this is how I avoid, fake breakouts of trend as well. Like this helps me avoid, like if I'm looking for a break of trend, I want to see that continuation of break of these candles over and over and over again to continue the move down. All right, this should be a first indicator to purchase. Let's go, Kebab. Do we have to draw the 5-minute level with new changes on quantum? No, you don't have to draw the 5-minute level. The 5-minute levels will automatically draw in. The only thing you see me draw, right, are the ranges. That's the only thing you will draw. If you want to visualize it yourself, right, you will draw in the ranges. The ranges would cause chaos on the chart, which is why we decide not to put it on there. And we don't want that, right? You want to be able to identify the ranges on your own. This is a good tool to help you train to really define nice market movements, right? A true uptrend, a true downtrend. When you see these candles continuously get broken on depending on the trend. This is how I use it, right? If I scroll out, okay, I'm going to show you guys this from earlier, right? There were only a handful of these candles that appeared, right? Just here, right? When you're downtrending, this is what you see, right? You're going to see the blues break. Then you see another range, right? Then guess what? The range downtrend continued, right? Broke through here. There's your continuation until it finally, right? Another push down, right here, right? The trend never flipped until we got to this point. Then when we opened, the trend flipped when it started breaking those. Broke here, kept breaking until we got to this peak right here. Broke and then boom, hit that peak. And now it looks like it's trying to slightly flip, but I want to see more bullish candles break, right? At the moment, we saw a bearish candle break. So this is still stuck in this 5-minute range for me, right? And at this point, I'm going to wait for the higher time frames to tell me what we want to really do in the end, right? Where would we want to move on the higher time frames? On the higher time frame, on the 2-minute, if I'm looking at 110, or the 5-minute up here at this 110. Actually, it's lined up 110. The 110 is perfectly lined up with this 2-minute right here. So that 110 is now a major area to look out for. And on the bottom side, you either have this 75, right? That 76 that it kept bouncing off right here. And below that, you would have 58.50. This is where you're going to see your major move come in. And until that occurs, you're going to be stuck inside of this range, right? The wide range. You can play inside the range. Like it becomes fun for me to play inside the range, right? You had the retest of this breaking candle 1, 2, 3 times. Each time 86, 93, 85, 91. This one pulled down to 83, 91, and then pushed all the way up to 98. And it's just going back and forth right in this top area right now. As long as it stays above this candle, right? This breaking candle and this candle right here, this area that was resistance is now what? Support. Like the basics of the basics, right? Same things with the levels. When a level attached to a candle gets broken through and it really truly holds, you want to see it flip and become support. Like the basics of the basics. This is what I play. Do you have to go into it? Depends on how you look at it. Javi takes a lot of trades. Yeah, I take a lot of trades, but I have fun. That's the thing. Like, do I have to trade all the? I finished my funded accounts early. Like I hit all my FFF accounts. My trades were done early. Look at that. All right. Look at that. Held, boom, push. Where are we going out? Where are we going now? Just on repeat. It's just on repeat. Non-stop over and over and over again. Look at that wick. Now it's breaking through. Let's see if it can start to hold. Then you have to get to 110, right? That's this candle. You still have to break 110 for the 5-minute break. Man, the 5-minute looks like it wants to try to do another trifecta here, which would be wild. 1, 2, there's your lineup, right? If the 5-minute can push through that 110, maybe. But there it is, right? 89. This was like about a 15-point risk trade. If you got an 85, it was about a 10-point risk trade. You're already up pretty damn nice. The 2-minute gave you that confirmation push continuation with a 3Z. You guys see the 3Z right there. You know where your stop loss was going to be. There's no guessing where your stop loss is going to be. And then when you want to see an area break and hold, you have these levels. All this right here to give you guidance. Your stop loss would have been right down here, right down there. And boom, there it goes, right? Now you're seeing this candle break, right? But this is on the 1-minute. This still has to break this 5-minute right here next. And that has to be broken by a 5-minute candle. And then the 5-minute candle has to break it and then hold above it. Same rules, same criteria, right? So this could easily start chopping potentially again still until that occurs. Let's see what happens here on the last 10 seconds. There's a push. There's the push. It's trying. It's trying. It's really trying. It used to close and it could not close above. Right? Could not close above. It got really freaking close. Now let's see if the 1 minute will hold above this 100, 105 area, or hold this whole candle right here, which would be all the way to 94. If it can hold this whole candle, the 5 minute will start kind of to form a potential 3 bar. Okay, guys, getting a lot of free chicken today. I hope I don't get in trouble. I hope I don't get in trouble. That's because of the 2 minute crossover was after the trigger candle. Yeah, if the 2 minute was in front, it's still because the beginning started at the 1, right? The 2 gave you the follow through. The entry will always be on the 1 minute madhouse, and then the continuation push on the 5. So even if the cross happened in front of the 2, that's still the confirmation push, right? That's still giving you that signal. So it'll still count as a trifecta, even if they're not all lined up perfectly. It's just you're looking for that continuation from one level to from another one into those blue candles into another one. So hopefully that makes it a little clear for you. If I buy the indicator, do I need sauce? No, you don't, Ron. You don't. Like literally all the quantum sauces on my YouTube. Every little tiny bit. Might be a dumb question. No dumb questions with me, Tangalang. I used to ask a ton of dumb questions. Might be a dumb question, but what do the setups look like with bigger candles / volume? Only ask because I see you trade during power hour and the market isn't as volatile. So there are, when there is volume and there's huge candles, there's bigger risk trades, right? When there's big volatility, then you adjust your sizing. That's all I do. I just adjust my sizing. A lot of times when you have those big volatile days, you get big moves. Like time and time again, guys, when I post my P&L or my runners on in the morning show or anytime I'm taking other trades, right? I'm only in 2 micros, but I'm up 100, 150, $200 on 2 micros. So these plays still play out very well, but I adjust my sizing based on risk. But yes, there are going to be opportunities still for pullbacks, retests, and all that fun stuff. Even on volatile days, I still find low risk trades on volatile days. Like yesterday was pretty volatile. We found that 6-point risk trade at the market close, right? Like right before power hour officially started, right at the money, we caught that 6-point risk trade for 50-point drop. So there are still setups that you can still take. Are those EMAs? They are like EMAs, Wizard. They're not your typical, like they have no value like the EMA. They have their own customized value. That's something that actually Owen put together for us. He's the mathematical genius. What indicators do I use? I use P2P, Quantum, Advanced Orb. Advanced Orb just to ease up putting in my orbs. That's the main one. I do have MVG on SPX. Okay. I don't know if Max is going to tease it more for you guys, right? I don't know if we're going to continue this thing. Obviously, my turnout wasn't as good as Logan's yesterday. I don't even care about that. Hopefully he does, because the new MVG update is sick as hell. The gold MVGs are amazing. I love those things. They've been like nice areas for potential points to get in. And look at this. See, this is why I'm very careful, right? The 1 minute held for a little bit, but we're still inside the 5 minute range, right? You still want to see it hold, right? You want to see this whole candle held. There's a little level there at 99 that got created on the 5 minute that looks to be a 15-minute level. So as long as this 99 holds, you want to see this start to push above 110 on the 5 though. Until then, this thing is still within a range. And this is where I play caution, right? Held, but it did not want to break and hold above 10. There's still no long trade. That's why it's important for me to look at multi-time frames to not get caught in fake outs. You want to see this hold though. And this, again, this is a 15-minute level, so it could take a while. You could get a wick, you could get a push. You want to see 87 hold, which would be about this center point right here, which is now lined up perfectly with that blue candle. And I didn't even do that on purpose. Look at that. Look at this. This is like happenstance stuff that always happens, and I love it when we get to record these and show you guys live, right? Look at this level I had over here, right? That purple candle that broke at 87 lines up with a 5 minute to the T right there at 87. So if we approach 87, I want to see what the DOM does. Look at that. It just violently whipped up before it got there. I took a peek. It got to 92, and I saw the DOM go wild at 92 and then push out. And this is that kind of stuff that I see on repeat over and over and over again, right? This 87 is now a key area based on that failed bearish candle. And now we have that 5 minute blue. The DOM's going wild right now, a little bit at 100. Yeah, that was a pretty violent pull down at 100 right there that I just saw. This is going to be potentially because of this level that's getting created at 103.25. If this holds below, and they could just get stuck right here. All right, there it goes. Ripping through 103. It's trying to rip over 103 in the quarter again. Now you could see a potential next failed bullish move if it breaks 107. But again, the 5 minute needs to break this freaking 110. 5 minute needs to break that 110. All right. Can I use this on Thinkorswim? Not yet, Kebab. You will be able to use it on wealth charts soon. Wealth charts will have our indicators up. Javi, when is the update coming out? The update just came out, SameG, last night. Well, this morning for everybody. I got to mess around with it last night. I'm about to go crazy with it. Oh shit, Yuck. Look at you, Yuck. Loaded the fuck up. Let's go, bro. Do you enter on a purple candle body close break? Oh shoot, look at that thing go. That 5 minute just skyrocketed. Look at this. So, do you enter on the purple? I don't enter on the immediate break games. I like to wait for retests, personally, right? I like to wait for retests. Now, what we're watching occurring right now, you saw the break, you saw a tiny bit of a retest, and it just pushed up. You're not going to catch every single one. There's sometimes where they break and they just go. I've seen it multiple times. I don't catch every single one, right? I look for my criteria. My criteria is a break and retest. That is my main criteria. I like to have a retest because I like the risk to be reduced. That's me. Right? I know some of you guys are degens, right? But if you are degens, still play responsibly, right? Always respect your loss, stop loss. Always make sure, you're sizing correctly. Don't go too ham yuck, Don't go too buck wild. But, look at that, right? Broke that bearish candle, 807, broke through 103, broke through 110. And now you're seeing that violent push. We're probably going to see that 130 Llama was looking for. And I have an area up here at the soft box at 142. I have a level inside here all the way up at 175. Right, so I want to see what it does around here. If it manages to get up there, it still looks like she wants to keep going. So I don't know if we're going to get a rejection, especially with this 15-minute level flip right here, right? And this is the tell that a level is going to be weak. Like I said earlier, right? This level got created. I wanted to see what occurred at the close. It didn't do anything but immediately retest. That is an indication of a weak level. Now you saw the flip, you saw the break, the flip, and now you're seeing that push, right? But you want to see this 5 minute still, right? You want to see this 5 minute close above 110, right? The explosion did happen, but you want to see this 5 minute close above 110. Then you want to see that 110 being held. So I don't always enter on the immediate breaks. I like to wait for the retest. Yuck is always cooking. Yuck has taken every indicator and dominated. And he takes the time to learn, which is amazing. So you're just watching the purples and blues and nothing in between. Yes, Javier Martinez. That's all I'm looking at, right? This is what I've been messing with, right? This is what I've been messing with when I was kind of showing the quantum gang earlier, right? I was doing this for a while. Oh, are we? Oh my God, we're already an hour in, guys. See, I get so lost in this. All right, guys, I'm trying to answer questions and stuff. I'm so behind already because I enjoy doing this, and this is how I do with my coaching. So I always go way over time. So guys, anybody here, right? You guys do not have quantum and want to try it out, you guys get a free week on me, right? I don't know how many we have. I think the code is QS week. Go and lock in a whole week, right? You guys are going to see my ugly mug for a quantum session as well. Now we're going to go over this all over again. But here, so get in there, guys. If there are any mods in there that can share that code too, QS week. Get in there, right? But this is something I've been kind of eyeing. And somebody in the quantum chat shared their chart like this, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like that because I don't look at anything but these candles. This is all I'm looking at. I only care about these solid candles, right? And then when I do my lines, I actually got to fix this because I updated it, right? I like to have these dotted, make them nice and thin, right? This is all I'm looking at. I'm looking at just these candles. Everything in between, I'm only waiting for the breaks. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. So that's something that I've been kind of messing with, right? Because again, right, you have this, which looks good too, but I do like the idea. I'm only looking at the solid candles. I don't care about everything in between until what occurs, until I get a break. Then you get a break, and then I get a push, right? Look at that. It immediately came down to retest. The 5 minute couldn't close over 110, guys. Holy shit. It pulled down fast and closed below 110. That is freaking hilarious. Look at that wick. All right, this is why I'm cautious with these higher time frame plays. Look at that wick on the 5 minute, only to close back down below 510. Or, I'm sorry, 110, 510. And if we start seeing the potential flip, right, Llama was looking at 130 earlier. We hit 127 twice. Then we want to start seeing these blues get broken. You want to see the blues get broken, and then we could see a potential progression move down if the flip does start occurring. Until then, be patient, right? This blue needs to hold. If this blue holds, and that purple breaks, guess what? We're still going up. But you need to start seeing these blues break if you're going to get that flip. That's wild. The 5 minute came all the way down at the last second to close below. Awesome. All right, let me put it back to normal. Let me put it back to normal, just because I know it might throw some people out. There we go, back to normal. Financial advice. Oh, here we go. We're gonna start seeing potential break here. This was a beautiful signal too. Beautiful signal. Not an A plus plus because the cross happened in front, gave you a little 3Z setup, right? So this would have been potential entry on this candle as long as it had the level. 110 gave you 15 points right off the bat. Right, the risk on bigger candles for me when they're too big, right? I'll set potential risk at a break of a level if the top side is too big. From 111, that was still about 12 points. That wasn't horrible, but from about 110 to 20, to 16, that's 6-7 points. That's much better for me if this level holds, especially because you want this this blue candle to break next. You want this to get broken, and then you want to get this one broken down here, right? But this is sitting on a bed, right? That 76 area has held pretty strong. This has to break first. This 96 needs to be broken first. This 99 is still also being held at the moment. Danny, I tried reverse engineering it before. Closest EMAs are the 6 and 16. But this indicator is different. You're not the only one, Danny. You're not the only one that's tried to reverse engineer it. And it's always funny when I have people guessing what the candles are and everything. And I'm like, guess. Let's see if you're even close. No one's even come close. Even 1111 gave it a shot, and he thought he got me. He was like, I know what it is, and he threw me a little DM. I'm like, that's a good ass guess because I've never heard. I don't want to like spoil his sauce, but I never heard of what he mentioned to me. I was like, never heard of that. What is that? And then I get curious because I'm like, what is that? If you found a confluence, this is the beauty about quantum. You can add confluences to it, right? You can add fibs. You can add, I'd rather not, ICT is gay, but you can add ICT stuff to it. You can add a ton of stuff as confluence. You're going to see the reactions around them. You're going to see your candles and everything. It's really cool. I do not use level 2 data. Okay, yeah. Oh, Ryan, I don't think, I don't know if you're new or you don't hear me enough. I freaking love P2P. Like I am in that morning session every morning. I'm in there because I love my stuff with llama stuff. Like I love it. Even my wife knows. Intellect knows too. How do you toggle? You cut out when explaining. How do you toggle what, Jimmy B? Re-ask. Or when I was explaining the candles, I mean, you would have to obviously the default, and then you would go into canvas, and then you would play with these, right? You would have the bodies on borders like that, right? Stuff like that. You would mess with these. Somebody explained that to me. I forgot who it was though. Oh look, there's your break, there's your retest. Let's see if this makes its way back down to 76 now. You want it to stay below 99, but this is still. Let's see, the 2 minute did break. The 5 minute. This is the only part I'll be cautious. Is this 5 minute blue at 88? That's where it is right now. So I would actually not be touching this until this 5 minute blue breaks. This is gonna get wicked out right here. It could get wicked out. It could get that stop over 99 again. It might not. Let's see if 99 holds. It needs to break that 87. The 87 needs to break, which would be right here. And that's that blue candle on the 5 minute. So this whole box right here, like when I'm looking at this 76 was obviously a stronghold, but look at that. See, even if you got in at 98, right? That's a 2-point risk at that point. If you got in up here, instant 10-point drop. 2-point risk on this guy if you got in at the tippy tip. I wouldn't be playing that though. I wouldn't. Could it keep going? Yeah, could. I want to see what it does at 76 this time. But there you go. There's your break and retest, break, retest. There's your violent move down. Look at that. Back down to 76. This 15-minute level looks like it might hold too. Here's the 5 minute. It's going to attempt to break this candle. This 5 minute has still almost 3 minutes to break. Let's see what it does. Look at that. What a beauty, right? And this is how you find those low risk setups, right? Yesterday, one of these setups presented this. It was literally this exact same setup, but it didn't get that close to the stop loss. I think it got to like around here, where it was like a 6-point stop loss, but this is the kind of setup I've been eating on, guys. Like right here. There's your breaking candle. There's your retest. As long as it holds that breaking candle, you're good. There's your push down right into this bed of levels right now. This area held really well before. Let's see if it does it again, or if it tries to rip through it this time. This 5 minute would need to close below 87, right? Still has 2 minutes. Look at that pop, right? Nice bounce off of 82. Needs to close up here to test the rest of this again. Close below it. So back down we potentially go to test that area again. All right. Okay. What about quantum candle? We count wicks. Yes, we count wicks as well with the quantum candles, Rav. I include the wicks as a part of the bodies. The DOM, yeah, it gets too busy if I have the DOM up here. Like I need another screen, and I want to record the DOM. I want to record the DOM, and I need another screen because guys, if you guys see my setup right now, I have OBS recording. I got the chat. I got the DOM. I got like so many things. I have ADHD and it does not help. It does not help. I want to try to use trade of 8 to execute. Might as well use that. The DOM is beautiful, guys. I'm telling you. If you guys have not tested on the DOM, I love the freaking DOM. So you guys got to see a little bit of the tease of the DOM. Look at that. Close below. Now we're going to that 76 potentially if we break that 81. Love you too, Big Chill. All right, I'm eating extra nuggets, all this damn sauce. I gotta see how we going crazy now. This is what it's like. That's right, intellect. This is what it's like, man. What did the triangle and the quantum candlestick? The triangles on the triangles were a confluence that was a sequence that occurred from the 5 to the 15-second chart. Never used it on the 1 minute. It would be a sequence that will begin on the 5, lead up to the 15, and play out on the 30. When I was trading on the 30-second chart, that's where I used it. It meant nothing after that. So it became obsolete. Like I haven't traded on the 30-second chart in over a year now. You got it, Sergeant Cupcake Fart. Cupcake Fart. What is the trifecta? It is when the 3 time frames line up. When the 3 time frames line up for a signal. So you'll see the buy on the 1. Your entry will start on the 1. Your continuation on the 2, right? And some people, I'm not a fan of doing this. I know there's a lot of you guys that do. Obviously, Max is a big guy on doing this, right? He scales in. Potential scaling opportunity. I'm not a fan of doing that. I just let my runners run, and then it will lead through to the 5. So you'll see a triple signal, just like this morning, right? This morning it gave a beautiful trifecta this morning, right? Right here. This is the 2, right? The 1 minute began it all the way down here. It was the 1 minute that began, right? The 1 minute signal lead to the 2 minute signal, right? This one occurred at 9:38. This one also occurred at 9:38. So this one probably triggered first, then this one second, and then at 9:40, right? Couple minutes later, you got the trigger on the 5. Gave a little bit of a retest, and then boom, just skyrocketed. That's the trifecta. Man, look at that signal. Look at that beauty right there. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Break, retest, continuation, and now we're currently bouncing off this area. Currently, let's look at the 2 minute. Yep, 2 minute has some ways to go. 5 minute could still challenge some of this zone down here. Could. That 5 minute candle did close below. So now you want to see this breaking candle hold. You want to see it stay below 90, but you want to see it stay below overall 99 if it's going to continue on the 5 minute. Right, but this was a strong area on the 1 minute before. The 76 area bounced hard previously. This needs to break back inside 87 to potentially come back and challenge 96, and then potentially challenge the rest of this. There's also a potential retrace on this purple candle all the way back up. Potential. Be careful. It's 116. It could, but I don't know if it's ready to do it just yet. But again, like I don't play those. So it's like an orb all day. Yes, it is joking. You can plot out little orbs all day when you have these areas. Like that's literally how I treat these. So you have this space, then this space. This is where my style accelerated after the mastermind. I think I need this so I can mix with Llama Strat. Yeah, I love it with Llama Strat, guys. Like love it. Maybe check the 3 dots on the end of the indicator, see if it allows you to update. If it for some reason the update hasn't pushed to you guys, remove it and add it back. I've had to do that. I've had to do that before. Why did that sound like came out? All of a sudden I forgot how to speak English. Do I wait for the retest after the cross? Not if it's an A++ setup and the risk is low. No. Right? If the risk is low, no. But right, this one did occur in front, so it did kind of occur already. I would just look at the risk from here to the level. Right? That was pretty 7-point risk. 7 points from the level. If you put it up to the top of the candle, the risk would have been about 13, 14 points. So it wasn't horrible. Obviously it paid out greatly, but again, right, you have to, if you're looking for 1-for-1, right, you would have gotten your 1-for-1 and then some, but you're not always going to catch every single big move over and over again, right? This gave a potential scale-in opportunity here, if you want to call it that, right, to pull down into that 76. It got where did it get to? 79. Now we're breaking back in. I gotta change all my lines again. I like the little dotted lines. I like the way this looks better. Like I like the subtleness of the action lines versus these thick things. I don't like the thick things anymore. It didn't come out right. Maestro, would you say 50% of a big blue or purple is good enough of a retest to enter the trade? Yes, it could be. But you want to have you want to make sure that level is there. You don't want to just retest the candle by itself. You want to make sure that there's a good reason, because again, right, you could get stuck in the middle of a range if you just have the back-to-back candles like this. All right. Oh, there's a retest right there. It did give a rejection, but then immediately pulled up then broke that one. So you want to be careful you don't get caught in something like that. But I have to have other confluences. All right, looks like that 5-minute candle's holding right now. That 5-minute break of this blue is holding. It is holding. So let's see if this 5-minute break of this blue continues to push and challenge this guy now. We're going to see a potential break of 76. That potential break of 76 could give that bleed through. Let's see. Yeah, so this is how that higher time frame, right? The setup is identical in every time frame. It's identical, right? There's the 5-minute break of this blue guy right here, right? Same setup. There's your break. There's your retest. Your stop loss would have been above 99. And there's your rejection push down. So if you got in up here at 89, you already gotten your 10 points. Your stop loss would have been at 9 points. Another 10 points, right, in the bag. Like continuous collecting. A lot of people always wonder how I do what I do. And you guys are getting to see, in live action, how I can find setup after setup over and over and over again. You always talk about the DOM during power hour. How does that play into the indicator and your setups? So if you missed it, what's it? I did literally just go over that at the beginning of this session. So be on the lookout for that YouTube video. I literally put the DOM up and I showed everyone the example of what I look for when the DOM's going crazy. So when this gets up on YouTube, rewatch that baby. Let's go. 6:30 people getting the quantum sauce. All right, everybody. I went on for way longer than I was supposed to. So there's probably still a lot of availability. The quantum boxes? You're talking about the sauce boxes? What quantum boxes? Are you talking about the zones? I don't know what my wife is talking about. Unless she's talking about the zones, the quantum boxes. She threw me off there. You can do 2 to 3. I do about 4 to 6 trades per account and then move on. That's usually what I do. Nah, chill. He's teaching. Can you explain what's the difference of importance of quantum candles that have the buy sell signals and the ones that don't? That is the lineup with the action lines creating those levels. So when the buy and sell signals occur, it's because they are attached to that confluence of the level creation with one of our candles that give that area strength and usually gives you that potential move, right? There are points where you might get stuck in chop, right? There are days where it plays out beautifully. Like today's price action has actually been really nice, right? Again, be on the lookout for where the crosses occur. But then there are instances, right? You have to be careful with big pull downs, big violent pull downs, and then you have to be cautious with where is your next area where it could bounce, all that fun stuff. But I'm very cautious with big ones, big ones, right? This one played out great. This one did not. This one got retraced and then broke through. But these give them strength, right? Today was actually a really solid day. Like it was a really solid day. You had good scalping opportunities all over the place, right? Here's one, right? This one triggered. This one honestly could have triggered on either candle, but it triggered on this one because this one was the closest, right? But this tested this area right here, and this area, this level that 784 had enough strength where it just hit 91 and then reversed, took off. This candle broke that guy first. Little 3Z that broke that one, and then you saw your violent push up. But today was actually a very nice day for these candles today. Like another example here. Here's one that happened on top, right? Why the ones that occur on top and on the bottom are risky? Because these are the instances where they get retested immediately. The levels get retested, they break. Guess what? It's not going to do its thing. Here's another A++ that played out. Cross occurred in front, retested the area and the candle a couple times, held, pushed back up a little bit. There's your range. There's your break of range. There's your push down, right? Came all the way back to test this little area at the levels below. And you could just see opportunity after opportunity here, right? This one right here at the current high of day gave you a little bit of a push, boom. But this was that 5-minute range we were stuck in for a while. There's another, this one is technically A++ because it occurred inside the body of the candle, right? That's inside the body. This is not above. This is considered A++. There was your move that occurred from that. Another A++. There's your move. A- because the cross happened in front, gave you an opportunity, and then it gave you that little follow-through play right here. And now we're seeing this bleed through. Look where it's holding, right? This 76 is still technically holding until this 2-minute candle can break below it, right? This 2-minute candle, there it goes. Look at this. So now you're seeing the progression of blue candles breaking. This is the flip of trend. This is the confirmation of the flip of trend. Started occurring on the 1-minute, started occurring on the 2-minute, started occurring on the 5-minute. Right? You see the follow through? It just keeps occurring over and over and over again. How many trades do you take a day? 1,000. 1,000 is rookie numbers, Trina. Those are rookie numbers. I take at least 1 million. At least. I'm a millionaire now in trades. If I won every single one, I might be a millionaire. Can you show us how to use the new 15-minute levels again? Yeah. So the new 15-minute levels, right? I have them plotted up on the 5-minute, right? There are currently no nearby 15-minute levels. no, or 5-minute levels, I'm sorry. The 15-minute levels on my chart are these 5-minute dash lines right here. So these are those for what I have set up on mine, right? You could flip it to however you guys want. It's customizable. But this 99 was that 15-minute level right there on my 5-minute chart. I don't have any 5-minute levels because this 5-minute level that occurred here was already broken. The only 5-minute level I would have that's still active is the level all the way down here at 801. In between there, here's a 15-minute level right here and right there. So you can use these, right? It did wick above. You can see how that blue push, but eventually, right, it came down. So it did resist it. It did not. The 15-minute candle did not break it, right? It would only vanish if that same time frame candle breaks above or below. 15-minute candle did not. Oh, here's the meltdown. Look at this beauty. All the way down now to challenge this potential blue at 59. But what does it need to break? 64.75. Boom, boom, boom. Then 59, breaks 59, 49, and so on, and so on, and so on. Just look at that. Right? What did it do here, guys? Right? What did we just see that it did right here? There's your break. There's your retest held below the breaking candle. Right? See the setup play out how many times so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, bunch of times. See a bunch of times on the 2-minute, on the 5-minute. Becomes a little easier, right? Becomes a little easier once you know what you're looking for. Oh my God, look at that thing go. Oh, right down to it. Look at this, right down to it. Now 59 can break and hold. All right, look at that immediate meltdown. And that's okay, Claudio. If you don't get it, it's okay, right? This is a whole strategy, brother. There's a lot of information in this, a lot of information. So definitely, check out my YouTube channel. Check out the download of this video afterwards. The setups are repeated. There's no guessing on the setups. They're the same exact thing over and over again. All right, this is a lot of sauce and chicken in this. So there's a lot of sauce and chicken in this. So if you get to watch the videos and you start to kind of on repeat, right? If you join us, I'm going to go over this again. We're probably going to have a session Sunday night. Yeah, probably Sunday night. I'll see. I won't make the official announcement, but we'll have a session or 2 next week for everyone who just joined, right? We just joined Thursday. I'm going to sneak in 2 sessions before your guys' weekends. So you guys can do this all over with me again and see these same setups again. Look at this beauty, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Like, this was a potential low-risk trade right here. On the retest 75, your stop loss was freaking 80. Look at that. 80 stop loss on that breaking candle, 20 points. 2-point stop loss up here. Like, look at this. Like, clean as day. You can see it over and over and over again. This is how I trade. Literally how I trade. All right, everyone. I'm going to have to cut it, I think, because I've gone way over my time. Guys, lock in on those indicators. I am not sure when they're going to stop working. If you haven't gotten the week already, go get the week. I'm trying to scroll in and answer questions just like I do in the quantum session. So I'm trying to answer everyone's questions while I'm 50 minutes behind trying to read everyone's questions. So guys, go lock in a free week if you haven't already. I'm going to call it now because I will be here all day doing this. I am addicted to this, literally addicted to this. So get that free week, QS week. Lock in, join me. Again, we're going to do 2 sessions coming up this week for all you guys, everyone that joined. So you guys can do this again with me and see me and hear me say the same thing over and over and over again, guys. All right, everybody. I think so. I'm not sure. My wife said somebody asked about back testing. I mean, you can always go back and do the replay mode. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Owen about the back testing stuff. I'm kind of an idiot when it comes to that. All right, everybody, lock in. I'm scrolling through. Holy crap, I was so behind. So if I missed a question, everybody, I apologize. This went on way longer than I thought, but there were setups after setups. Amazing day. I hope everybody got to learn a little bit of something. Got a lot of free chicken, guys. Lock in with me in Quantum. I will be here 2 more times with you guys in the Quantum study channel, okay? For everyone that has that free week, all right? You'll see me possibly Sunday, and then you'll see me again another time before next Thursday, all right? So tune in on Power Hour, and hopefully you guys will be able to track what I'm seeing a little bit better. So peace out, everyone. FOMC in 30 minutes. Come on, man. We got like freaking 2 hours left for FOMC. I'm going to take a little break. But I'll see everyone in for Power Hour in about an hour. All right, guys, lock in. Amazing. So excited to have all the new Quantum users get to learn with me.